fabrics and shapes and lines best serve your body. For example, I'm a soft classic, so a balance of yin and yang with a little more yin, a little more roundness in the flesh. If I want to wear a sheath dress or a silk slip dress, say, that's a very straight line, very angular, and the flesh of my body interrupts those straight lines, and it can be visually a bit, it's not even bad, it's just not the best thing for my body lines or my body type. If I really wanted to wear a silk slip dress or a sheath dress, there are certain sheath dress maybe I can get away with, but like a slip dress, say, because I love that trend, but it just doesn't work on me, and I could still wear it if I wanted, and I'm sure there are some ways to make it work, like if you can somehow get some waist definition, which then it's not a slip dress, but anyway, wear whatever you want, but this test, whether you follow the guidelines or not, it will help you understand why some things are harder to wear than others for your body type, or why something you love maybe doesn't look quite right. And once you understand why it doesn't look quite right, you can play with it and figure out ways to still wear it if you want. Or if you just want some tips on what else to wear, what's best to wear, this is for you too. So I hope you find it helpful. And without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start with romantic, and hopefully I'll have some resources here, some images to help you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, romantics are on the far side of the yin side of the spectrum, so their bodies tend to be made of round, curved, soft shapes. So for fabric, it's best when the fabric is soft and light and gives a kind of weightless look to it. Sheer fabrics, laces, silks, tulle, and cottons and linens, and soft yarns complement the softness and roundness of a romantic body. Silhouette clothing looks best when it has waist emphasis. This can be achieved by wearing high-waisted pants or skirts with a shirt tucked in at the waist to show off the defined waist that romantics naturally have. Alternatively, you can wear something with a belt or scarf tied around the waist, or something that, an item of clothing that has structure at the waist can also provide that waist definition. Silhouettes on romantics are best when they are gentle, so to get that, lightweight fabrics, make sure that clothes aren't overly tight or structured, and it will feel gentle. Colors too are nice when they're light, for example pastels, light neutrals, pale colors. Prints and patterns are best when they're rounded and moderately sized, such as polka dots and floral patterns. Some details like, soft details like ruffles, lace, gathers, and rounded elements like buttons and collars can help romantics look their best. You can also show a bit of angle. That looks nice on romantics. Theatrical romantic. They're like romantics, but they have a little more angularity to them. So there's a slight sharpness, and that's what we want in the clothing as well. For the fabric, lightweight fabrics like silk, lightweight cottons and linens, sheer fabrics, soft thin yarns look nice. Theatrical romantics can also wear something slightly stiffer, and especially if those fabrics have a little sheen to them, the sheen will add softness if the fabric is stiffer. Silhouette. Waist emphasis again looks great on theatrical romantics. It complements their hourglass figures. High-waisted pants and skirts with a shirt tucked in at the waist are beautiful. Dresses that are fitted at the waist also complement the glamour that they naturally have. Colors and prints can still be light, don't need to be pastel or desaturated. Theatrical romantics can support smaller, neater, and more ornate elements, so prints and patterns on the smaller taller side to complement their slightly thinner bone structure, like small florals, thin, like small polka dots, and detailed prints look best. Details on theatric romantic clothes are also best if they are small and ornate. Something that gives off a kind of glamorous look also complements their body type. Dramatic. Dramatic's overall look is long, lean, angular, so clothing that the dramatic wear should also reflect this, or can work well if it reflects this. Fabric should be stiff and should hold its shape well. Make sure that the fabric is clean and wrinkle-free to give extra sophistication to a dramatic body type. Thicker leather, wool, cottons all look great because they hold their shape well, and it matches the dramatic's angularity. Silhouette. Clothing is best when it has long, clean, vertical lines with a little tailoring. So, simple cuts with little to no color blocking are best. It's cohesive with the dramatic's long look. Color blocking breaks up the vertical line. Dramatic's want long, clean line. Long lines are key, so pants, dresses, cardigans, and coats that are very straight and long look good on a dramatic. Colors and prints. Dramatic can get away with wearing colors that are very rich and dark. Prints are best when they're angular and geometric in nature, and a dramatic looks great when wearing vertical stripes because it complements the long vertical line. Clothing details are best when they're pointed or square-shaped, matching the angularity. And that's all dramatic. Soft dramatic. They have long and angular bones like dramatics, but they also have some added roundness, so in their flesh and facial features. So that's what we want to do with our clothing. They tend to look good in slightly stiff fabrics with some added roundness or softness, like a bit of sheen, a soft texture, or draping. They look amazing in draping. Or for example, velvet can add a lot of elegance to a soft dramatic look. Wools and suedes make great fabrics for soft dramatics. Winter outerwear, crisp linen looks good in the summer. Silhouette should have a long vertical line to match the length of the bone structure. Should also have a little waist emphasis. Overall shape is best when it's large and slightly rounded. High-rise pants look good on soft dramatics. This gives some waist emphasis and goes along with the long vertical line. They tend to look good in very rich colors like jewel tones. When it comes to prints and patterns, very large and rounded is the way to go because it complements the large, round shapes that are present in the body. As for details, they're best when they're large and rounded, again, to complement that same line. Classics are neither rounded nor very sharp. They have fairly low contrast and like a very moderate look to them because the yin and yang is blended in that type. So when it comes to fabrics, something that is neither very lightweight nor very heavy is perfect. The details are very apparent on a classic, so it's important to wear things with no wrinkles, fading, or loose threads. This is not something I do a good job following. The classic looks best in something that is clean and symmetrical. Simple lines and slight waist emphasis look great. Classics look best in neutral colors like black, gray, white, beige, navy, khaki. If you go for a pop of color, something that's neither very dark nor very light looks good because, again, it's all about balance with a classic. They become quickly overwhelmed in prints and patterns, so if you're a classic who really wants to wear a pattern, stick to something simple and symmetrical like dots, pinstripes, grids, etc. Details are best when they're simple, symmetrical, and moderately sized. Anything too small or too large looks out of place. Asymmetry also looks out of place on a classic, so it's best to make sure that zippers, buttons, collars, pockets are symmetrical. Soft classics are like classics, blended again, but they have some added roundness. So soft classics and classic signature looks are similar, but soft classic has some extra lightness or roundness to it. so make sure you take care of your clothes if you're a soft classic. As for weight, go for a fabric that's light to moderate weight or has some softness to it, or a sheen. Silhouettes are best if they're clean and symmetrical with waist emphasis. You can opt for pants or shirts that end just above the ankles and wrists, or cuff them to achieve this effect. Clothing also looks good if there's some tapering above the ankles or wrists. When it comes to colors, neutrals and light colors are best. Anything bright or very dark can distract from your face, so make sure you don't put bright colors near your face. When it comes to patterns and prints, sticking to solid colors is best, but if you really want a pattern, then something simple, symmetrical, and slightly round looks best, like polka dots or stripes or repeating florals. As with classics, soft classics are very quickly overwhelmed by asymmetry, so make sure that buttons, zippers, and pockets are symmetrically placed. Dramatic classics. They are like classics with a balance of yin and yang, but have a little more yang, a little more angularity. So, very similar to a classic look with some more angularity. Fabric is best when the texture is somewhere between moderate and stiff. A more structured or tailored silhouette looks good, especially when inspired by menswear. Some slight sheen or softness can also work. Silhouettes that are clean, structured, symmetrical look amazing on dramatic classic. Hints of sharpness, such as a square neckline, also add sophistication to the look because it matches the slight sharpness of a dramatic classic's body. Colors look best when they're rich and dark or neutral. When it comes to prints and patterns, opting for solid colors looks best, but simple, symmetrical, geometric prints, like grids, stripes, also look good. Details should be simple and symmetrical. Some slight sharpness or geometric elements look good since it matches the slight sharpness that dramatic classics have. Natural. Naturals are similar to dramatics. They're more on the yang side of the spectrum. They have like a bluntness, a broadness, a width to them, instead of that very thin angularity. So here's how clothing can reflect that. Fabrics that have some roughness, texture, or a natural vibe to them look amazing on naturals, like chunky knits, denim, furs, crochet, all complement naturals well. Linen and chambray also look amazing on naturals, like think free people basically. Silhouettes are best if they're relaxed and layered. Long elements, especially ones that hang off the body, like scarves and cardigans, also complement a natural's bone structure. Slightly oversized clothing can look good on naturals without looking too baggy. Colors and patterns. When it comes to colors, colors that look like they could be made from natural dyes are perfect. Prints and patterns that can work include animal prints, floral patterns, asymmetrical patterns. As for details, they're best if they're large and have a rough, natural, or handmade look to them. Soft natural. Soft natural is like natural with added softness and roundness. So when it comes to fabrics, it's best if they're natural with a little bit of softness. Lighter materials that have some softness, looseness, drape. Materials like chunky knits, chambray, linen, light cotton blends, crochet, especially crochet lace and suede, all look amazing on soft naturals. The best silhouette is slightly feminine but loose. So loose clothing with long lines and just a hint of waist emphasis. Maxi skirts, long cardigans, oversized shirts look amazing on soft naturals as long as they're brought in a little bit at the waist with a belt or a tight scarf or just like a touch of tailoring. As with naturals, it's best if the colors look like they're naturally dyed. They're also better if they're light, so you could do some pastel shades. Patterns and prints are best if they're natural looking, like animal prints, florals, things like that. Details are best when they're round on the large side and have slightly handmade or natural vibes to them. Flamboyant natural. Flamboyant natural is like a dramatic with some width or bluntness of a natural, and also some height. So they have a mixture of blunt edges and angularity, a mixture of width and height. Fabrics that look good on flamboyant naturals. They're relaxed, natural, like cotton, denim, linen, suede, fur, wool, all look amazing. Knits, especially large and chunky knits with lots of texture, look good. Silhouette should be long, oversized, relaxed, oversized shirts, wide bands, long coats and cardigans, long scarves that hang off the body and are cohesive with the width and length. That all works with their bone structure. You can wear oversized men's shirts or a relaxed dress to play different sides of the spectrum. When it comes to colors, you can go really wild. Bright, rich colors look amazing. Jewel tones, fun colors. You can also wear strong neutrals like black, white, navy, or khaki. You can also wear bold patterns, animal prints, psychedelic patterns, stripes. Large and continuous patterns are best. Avoid color blocking. Details are best when they're oversized, have more of a relaxed or handmade look to them, including belts, pockets, buttons. Gamines have a mix of yin and yang, but unlike the classic family, it is not blended. It remains separate and contrasted, so it gives them a youthful, energetic look in general. So, when it comes to fabrics, gamines can really mix and match. You can wear a mixture of stiff fabrics and looser fabrics because that will match the mix of yin and yang in the body type. Silhouettes are best when they're short, fitted, slightly sharp. Pants look good if they're high-waisted and above the ankles. When wearing stiff clothing like blazers, jackets, and pants, it's best if it tapers towards the ends, the ankles, and the wrists. Cupping the bottom of pants or sleeves can also help if they're too long. High necklines and shorter hems create a stronger sense of balance in a gamine, so you can keep that in mind when looking at dresses, blouses, jackets, shirts, sweaters. They look best when wearing color blocks, so at least 2 colors in an outfit can be a good idea. Bright and contrasted colors look good in gamines because it matches the level of contrast they have in their features. When it comes to patterns, gamines can pull off busy and animated patterns and prints. Details look best when they're small, detailed, fun. They can even be cutesy. Small buttons, thin belts, small pleats look amazing on gamines, and fun embroidery details also look good. Soft gamines have that same mixture of yin and yang in their bodies with contrast, but slightly more yin. So, fabrics are best when they're a mix and match of stiffer and softer fabrics, but there should be slightly more soft fabric than stiff fabric to go with the body type. Silhouettes are best when they're fitted. High necklines work well. Pants, skirts, and dresses that show a bit of ankle are great. Waist emphasis is also nice for matching the underlying yin currents in a soft gamine. When clothes are fitted at the ankle, knee, waist, collar, shoulder, elbow, or wrist, they look good. Again, color blocking is key in all of the gamine family, so make sure that you have 1 or 2 colors at play that'll look great. Patterns and prints are best when they're small and animated, so think round shapes like fun polka dots, flowers, etc. They can be smaller and they can be cutesier than other types may be able to pull off. Small details look good on soft gamines, so look for small buttons, gathers, ruffles, pleats, and belts. A little bit of roundness there as well for the yin undercurrent. Then we have flamboyant gamine. They're like gamines, yin and yang, contrasted, but a little more yang, a little more angularity. So they're like dramatics, but smaller too is another way to think of them. They look their best when wearing a mixture of stiffer and softer fabrics, but slightly more stiffness than softness. Silhouettes should be tomboyish, fitted, cropped. Again, high necklines are good, so are shorter pants, skirts, and dresses. Cropped jackets and blazers, especially when paired with skinny jeans, cigarette bands, straight leg pants, look amazing. Color block, again, is great for everyone in the gamine family. So, same thing here. Color blocking is great. 2 or more colors. They look best when they are rich and dark colors. Flamboyant gamines can also go crazy when it comes to prints and patterns. They can mix prints and patterns really well. small and unique in some way, something out of the ordinary looks amazing on flamboyant gamines. So that is the end of these little signature looks, signature styles for each body type. I hope you found it helpful. Again, wear whatever the F you want. Nobody's trying to put you in a box or anything, but these are some ideas for lines, shapes, weights of fabric, volumes that look good on each body type. And once you know that, you can either follow the guidelines or not accordingly, knowing what you're doing and knowing how to work with and highlight and enhance the lines that are already present in your body. I found it very helpful. I hope you do too. If you have any questions, again, I'm not an expert, but just put them